Hi, my name is Lily. I was a child belonging to a bit of a family from a city. I was the younger one, and my older sister had a strange kind of mentality. Let's talk from the beginning. For almost all of my childhood, my sister neither treated me as a sister nor enemy. We argued and got back together again like normal sisters. But at a very young age, our parents and relatives started to compare us. In their eyes, I was much better than her. If I were at her place, I would also be depressed. I realized that she was suffering from eating disorders, anxiety, depression, and other physical and mental problems by that comparison. So my childhood was much better than hers. Sometimes she used to be beaten up by my father and she didn't get as many things as I did. I know it's really tough to see someone with your own eyes getting the things that you can't reach. As we grew up, we started building a more toxic relationship. She started lying to me, and to be accurate, I also did the same. Before hitting puberty, I didn't seem to get to know the poisonous relationship between us. But I had got to understand that she didn't like that comparison. So I started being dumb around people and talked back to them when they compared us. I'm not sure. I may have made such mistakes that made her start hating me. But I couldn't tell her that I just wanted to be a normal sister like anyone else. Anyhow, the lies and toxic things kept growing up and up. As I hit puberty, I started getting pimples and gaining a lot of weight. I started getting comments on my weight and looks. I wasn't pretty like her. Gradually, I happened to become the inferior one. I also didn't like that status. Then I started getting bullied by others. My sir also started harassing me day by day. I had already become depressed. My eating disorders were even worsening. But I was also kind of happy because she was now becoming a good sister. I liked seeing her satisfied. Soon I was successfully dealing with my eating disorders, so I lost a lot of weight, and as I lost it, I was looking pretty a bit. But she didn't like it, and she started to shame me by calling me skinny. At first, I thought she was worried about my problem, but soon I realized that she wanted to make me feel inferior to her. I again started gaining weight, but I don't blame her for my weight gain at all. It was entirely on me. Then, for my weight, I became so anxious and depressed that I started cutting myself. I had learned it from her, as she cut herself every time she thought she was not looking good. But as soon as she found out that I was also doing the same, she told my mom because I refused to give her money to keep silent. In response, I also told mom about cutting herself. I thought I should have done this quite earlier. My mom and dad weren't angry about the cuts. They were only worried about the infection. I couldn't put myself together and burst into tears. She suddenly got mad at me and told me that my depression reasons weren't justified and nothing compared to her. She said that she suffered for years and years as opposed to my 1 year. She said that I didn't have an eating disorder and therefore had no right to get depressed. She said I was just childish. That day, I decided to keep myself silent. And after that, I never cried in front of them. I changed myself into a completely different person, a happy and a dumb person. She got counseling, but I never told mom about the monster growing in me. My mom didn't know much about mental health issues, so she tagged me as mental. I didn't want to get that tag at all. Anyways, the days passed on, and many things happened that made me more fake. She constantly insulted me before our friends. Whenever I tried to prove my intelligence or tried to look a bit more knowledgeable, she always put me down and wanted to prove me wrong. She never encouraged me in any situation. But one day, I totally broke away. Actually, I had started a little part time job as an artist, but she didn't want to see me successful in any way. I didn't know anything about banks and PayPal. I always used her account for my transactions. One day, she told me that PayPal had banned me because of some technical issue. I trusted her blindly, and for almost one entire month, I didn't get any payment for my services. One day, I read a message on her mobile that revealed all the payments were coming into the bank and nothing had happened to PayPal. That broke me. She was jealous of my earnings, even though I was earning relatively less than her. After a few days, I also found out that all the online threats and bullies I was suffering from were actually from her fake account. I realized that she was telling the honest thoughts she had for me by putting on a mask. I completely lost every single ray of hope in our relationship. I didn't reveal to her that I was aware of her fake account. I remained to treat her online as a stranger. Actually, I didn't want to argue anymore. Perhaps I was tired. Firstly, I would call her my sister, then a victim of unfair things, then a struggling, depressed girl, and then an egoistic girl who just didn't want anyone to look better than her. Anyways, as we know, you can't clap with one hand. There must have been some mistakes that I made to further this toxic relationship. Thanks for watching. And if you're new to the channel, then subscribe to it and hit the bell icon for more engaging content on my life experience.